And we're rolling. So, Scottie, welcome, my friend, and welcome everybody else to
Hi,
Fatso Radio
Carl.
episode number 37. Thank you, Scottie. Thanks again for coming, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Uh, yeah, it's my pleasure,
Good
man.
to be back.
Good pleasure. Yeah, it's just how many episodes have we done now? Our third,
It's
maybe, or
our
fourth.
third, maybe, yeah, third or fourth.
Yeah, we did one
Fourth.
from
It is fourth, yeah.
fourth. Yeah, we did one. I think you even did one from like camping or no, where were you? Yeah, you were on the. I think you're on the road camping somewhere one day.
You mean that it's over now?
What's that?
Camping's over now, and you're reminding me. You're making me sad.
Making you sad, I know. But yeah, so welcome again, buddy. And what's new, man? Tell me and tell everybody what's new.
Um, well, new. Just if we want to talk, we'll get right into the keto stuff.
Yeah.
Kind
Well,
of
first of all,
fell
I
off
mean,
the wagon a little
yeah,
bit recently. I wouldn't say fall off the wagon, but I had a number of different family functions and that, and temptation. Had some sweets.
mm,
Immediately suffered from it, and very happy to be back on track now. So it's a
nice
good learning lesson.
for
When your body
sure.
can tell you you've overdone it, when you didn't realize before that you're overdoing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And that's exactly like we were kind
on
of,
that. If we want to get right back into it.
yeah, like kind of like what we were saying, just before we started recording as well, is like, you're going on track and you're going well, and then when you kind of do cheat or when you do kind of follow track or whatever you want to consider it, that's a real big eye opener of like, holy shit, this is what I used to feel like, or this is maybe something that I used to think was sort of normal and put up with or tolerated, but really now it's like it really kicks your ass, right?
Yeah, very much. I don't know. Back, I guess, even you start as a very young person, like as a young child, eating, dessert daily,
Mm-hmm.
or sweets daily part of your life. Remove it for a little while, remove it for that 30 days, 90, 60, 90 days, something like that. And then all of a sudden indulge again. Doesn't even have to be a lot, just regular sized portion of cake and ice cream or something that everybody typically has on those birthday parties or whatever it might be. And the it's reinforced right away that this stuff is not good for you. You feel it. You feel full right up to the top of your neck, and sort of nauseated and a sort of sick feeling
Oh yeah.
that I believe we're used to if you eat the standard diet. That has more carbs in it and more refined sugars. Um, then when you remove it, you get very used to the new feeling of no bloating and then you notice right away that you're suffering from that, and it's such a reinforcement for your brain that it needs, I think, to continue,
Yeah.
because the temptation's always there.
Hmm.
Um, but then when you see that you suffer, it makes it that much easier to just say no thanks, or just get right back on track.
Exactly. And a lot of times it's that real kick in the ass that you kind of need. For me, anyways, the kick in the ass that I needed to remind you, like, hey, buddy, you felt better before. So once you go back to feeling better and eating better and just
Yeah.
being better, right?
Not to
Um,
mention you put 5 pounds on if you do that too. You can notice it on the scale right away.
oh yeah, and especially if you're someone who watches the scale, right? And if that means a lot to you, cheating, like that's why I always kind of say that don't reward yourself. Fuck, like don't reward yourself with a really really bad cheat, or that's why I don't really recommend people have snacks and stuff like that. I mean, if you need to get you to a certain place, then okay. But I really don't like cheating or But at the same time, I'm human, right? So I'm not perfect, and
The
I'll do whatever.
reality is that we will have something like that, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, it's going to be difficult to make it through your kids' birthday parties and all that without having a piece of their cake.
Yeah.
Just to be totally realistic.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I mean, you can. I mean, like, there is, I'll be honest too. I mean, but sometimes I'm considered a hard ass about it too, right? But there's definitely family functions where I don't have any cake anymore, right? There's family functions where
right.
I don't have any. But to your point as well, if you are going to have a piece of cake at your son's birthday or any kind of function, whatever, have a little piece and that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Don't go crazy. And
Not
then
that
you
giant
also,
that
yeah,
you're
you
stuck.
don't have that giant piece exactly. And then you don't have to spend the next day in the toilet or whatever, just in pain if
Yeah.
you have a tiny, tiny piece to satisfy that whatever. Because there's also that social element too, right? And I don't really talk about that as much as I should. But
Social
there is a
pressure.
social, yeah, there's just social part of the culture. It's like, hey, we're gonna eat, we're gonna do this, and I always try and put my foot down and say, well, fuck, f this, be
Yeah.
strong and do what you got to do for yourself. But I get it, that there is balance, but there's still the healthier side. So you take the healthy side of whatever dessert or whatever you want to eat, and I mean, you can still do it, whatever. I mean, if you at the end of the day, my opinion is, if you don't want it and you really don't want it and it's not good for you, no one's gonna make you have anything, right? But
Yeah.
if you want advice on what to choose, yeah, there's healthier options or what have you. But yeah, I get it for sure. One of the things that's funny when you said that getting kind of going back on track after being off for a while and after feeling like crap and everything, I didn't even know, going back to when I first started this diet, I didn't even know I had digestive issues. For years, I just thought it was completely normal. I didn't even consider it pain. I really didn't. Like, I didn't even consider
No.
it bloatingness. And then not having it, right? The first thing I felt was, holy shit, I feel like my abdomen or my stomach just shrank. Before I lost
Yeah.
any weight, before I lost any pant sizes, I just kind of felt no pressure, or reduced
In,
pressure.
in your
And then I was
midsection,
like,
like
yeah, my
right in there,
midsection,
right in.
right away,
Yeah.
right away. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Okay, this bread, whatever, or the pasta, whatever I'm eating, maybe it's just this stuff, but this food's not good. I
You
removed the
feel light
breads.
and cleaned out. That's how
Oh,
you feel.
exactly. Yeah, because and that's and I believe the reason for that is your digestive system is just cleaner. It's lighter. It's not gunked up with all this. I mean, I think that we're going to find out in years to come that fiber is really not the end all and be all. I really do. Everything. There's a lot of things I'm reading these days that, that's showing me that it's like, what do you need it for? Like, what do you need to clean the pipes out, whatever, with this
Yeah, it's
brush?
toxic and it's lining your guts with stuff that doesn't need to be there,
Yeah.
and
And
it's
for
in
a
the
lot of
way.
Exactly. And for a lot of people, it's causing this gut permeability now, right? Which then cause autoimmune issues. But good time to remind everybody, Scotty, we are not doctors.
No, we're
So
just
yes,
telling you how it's
telling you how it
felt
is.
for us.
Exactly, and our experiences as well. But yeah, like you said, it's once you're back on track and you're doing kind of back on track. It really is the best way to describe it. Then things get easier, and it's funny. I've been thinking a lot lately about how things get easier mentally for me as well. Like, even emotionally, my emotional stability is not that I'm crazy all over the map, but if I've ever had ups and downs, it gets way better when my diet gets cleaned up,
Yeah,
for
sure.
sure.
Like especially I think anybody, especially when you get a little older, you get a little more mindful of these things too. We're
Yeah,
into our 40s now. Yeah, I do realize by the
you
end of the
spend more
day,
time
I'm,
in your head.
I'm a little irritable.
Yeah,
I'm a little less likely to want to deal with any sort of issues or problems at,
yeah,
once we get into the evening hours, and it's much better um, throughout the day, and when the day drags on or wears on, when I'm eating without sugar.
yeah.
It's yeah, for sure. Your moods are much more even.
Yeah. I mean, even so, I mean, to some extent, if you're someone who's kind of drinking on and off, or somebody, because even I've experienced over the years with drinking, right? You have a couple days of drinking and then, like, holy shit, you just, then not drinking, right? It's very similar in different ratios and different volumes, of course, but it has some similarities to alcohol and sugar to me personally,
Yeah,
where I
there's
irritable or just the withdrawal. It's like, it's not the same by any means, but it shares some scary resemblances to me. I'll just say that. Um,
it lowers your 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 strength, your will,
yeah,
to not be tempted by those things. And yeah, I do find a few days following some alcohol,
where,
just cravings that I wasn't having for a while,
yeah,
and then you
and
got to
then the
get through a
sugars
couple
come.
days.
Yeah,
Sometimes I don't get through it. Sometimes I am going to the cupboard for something,
yeah, exactly, and
and
that's what it could lead to. I think it's trying to if I had to piece back now and correlate these days that where I've cheated over the last 3 or 4 years on this diet, I bet you, I bet that those days where I drank probably correlated with the days I cheated. I'm sure. I mean, not
yeah,
only because you just thought, "May fuck it, I'm going to cheat for the whole weekend," but I maybe directly because the food and the alcohol, maybe the sugars, glucose, fructose, all that played a role together. Because alcohol is digested, broken down by your liver, same as fructose, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting that way. But like you said, back on track, and how are you feeling? Back to normal, or what?
Yeah,
Or is it
getting
taking
there.
you a
Like,
while? Is it taking? Yeah.
well, I think we were talking last time. summer, little extra beer and stuff.
Hmm.
And at one point there, I jumped over 220 again. So now I'm trying to get it back. I think you and I are uh, talking yesterday. I was
Yeah.
215. So
Yeah. Neck and neck, eh,
um,
buddy?
yeah, no, for sure. And then the lowest I could possibly get was to 208 before I started to make a little climb. And then
Wow.
I haven't been strict enough to get back down there. And that's where it leads me into how are you doing this carnivore thing and what exactly are you eating on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Because I've tried it, I've dabbled with just only meat for the day,
Hmm.
and I've done it maybe 2 or 3 days, but I wasn't eating the right things. I know
Yeah.
that now, and I know I have to add some other things. I'm hoping you can
Okay.
give me some
Yeah.
suggestions to help me out with that.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk about that because, just to your point as well, I always talk about the carnivore thing, hashtag carnivore, and I do eat a lot of meat, a lot of barbecues and things like that. And you're absolutely right. I'm basically almost 100% carnivore now. I mean, if you include cheese, then I'm 100% carnivore. Um, and it's something that I've kind of, gradually gone to from keto, and I'll tell you why, because it was really, really natural for me and really easy. At first, because my version of keto, first even the paleo version was a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens, and then always meat on top. So when I went keto, it was still greens and meat on top. So then after a while of going meat and greens, or yeah, greens and meat, salad and greens, and salad and meat, salad and meat. Um, Sometimes I would just miss that salad and meat meal, so I'd miss a supper with a meat heavy meal, but then I would have a big breakfast. Right, it would just be just meat. So
Hmm.
then I'm like, well, why don't I just leave out the salad? So I did that. Like I said, after about a year of going keto and losing a bunch of weight, maybe 50 or 60 even pounds, maybe even more than that, I think I'm gonna try the carnivore thing. There was Dr. Sean Baker was kind of promoting it, talking about it about a year ago. So 2018 January, it was like a World Carnivore Month. So I did it for a month, and like I said, I did it for a month, and I think I just did basically steaks, but a lot of ground beef and butter and steaks. And that's about it. No eggs, but just beef and
Yeah,
butter. And like I said, it was such an easy transition because, I mean, I'll be honest. If I had to choose between broccoli and steak, I'm going to choose a steak. My part of my brain
yeah,
thinks that I should be choosing broccoli because I was told it was healthy my whole life, honestly. But a steak just tastes better, and it's way more nutrient dense. It's got the fat I need, it's got the protein I need, right? So for me, it's better, and it's funny. My digestion actually improved right away. So my digestion, this is like it wasn't really bad, but I did find that when I had meals that were heavy, heavy in plant matter, so a lot either big salads or just a lot of like zucchinis or squash or something like that. I mean, I'd go to the washroom and then it would seem like a lot of the stuff was just not digested. That's the easiest way to say it, right? Then
right,
everything changed when I got rid of that stuff. So my bowel frequency dropped like tremendously. Instead of going to the bathroom 3 times a day, I'd go to the bathroom once a day. So now I go to the
right.
bathroom once a day, like poo, right? I'll be honest,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like good, nice size, whatever, and it's whatever, not hard to come out. But so that's like so I was like, wait a second, I'm not going shit 3 times a day. I'm not as it helped a little bit of the bloating as well. But really the grains helped the bloating a lot. But so more than
Yeah.
just yeah, really just the bathroom, not going to the bathroom as much. And I mean, it's less buying, less food, right? Less washing, less preparing, less cooking. And then, as I did that for a little while, and now I'm getting more into the carnivore, I'm reading a lot and I'm listening to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks. And there's a lot of, smart people, scientists and doctors really kind of describing and really investigating the fact that some plants just really aren't that great for us, right?
Right.
There's a lot of people that are having issues with plants, and I mean, it's not a lot of people having issues with animals. Really, and that's what it is. Like meat products. I mean, sometimes you might not be able to digest meat, or some people have issues digesting meat, but it may be another issue causing them that, or maybe a genetic issue. I don't know, but a lot of times it's because of a certain disease state or a certain health state that maybe won't let you, digest meat as properly, or your stomach acid or something like that. Depends on certain medications you're taking and stuff like that too. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting.
I wonder sometimes if it's a combination of heavy carbohydrates with the meat that makes it all difficult to digest and push through.
I could see that
Um,
for sure.
yeah, I could definitely see that. And like, we're talking about gut lining and stuff like that. A
Hmm.
steak sitting in there with your gut not in proper shape.
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe it is going to be harder to digest that piece
Yeah.
of meat.
Well,
But
it's true,
I don't
especially when they talk about like gut, the gut microbes and the gut, different bacteria you have in your gut, right? If you feed your gut bacteria, if you feed your stomach the same sort of stuff, but it happens to be the wrong stuff for you. Say a high carbohydrate, highly refined carbohydrate diet. Everybody agrees it's bad, right? So say Snickers all day long. If you
mm,
feed yourself Snickers all day long, you're gonna have certain gut bacteria that like Snickers, and those gut bacteria are not gonna be good for you, right? We all know that. Doctors know that.
yeah,
So if you do that and you give it meat and stuff, right? I don't know what's that going to do. Are the gut bacteria that thrive in an environment that live off Snickers, are those same gut bacteria? Um, do those kill other bacteria that protect you from things that are in meat? Like you're right, like that kind of shit
yeah,
happens in your gut. We have so many different types of gut bacteria, and we really don't know anything about the gut bacteria from what I've learned. And
just
and I've
starting
been,
to scratch the
yeah, we're just
surface.
starting to learn exactly. And what they do know is that certain people with certain gut bacteria seem to be doing better, but they're not sure if the diet is doing it or the gut bacteria, right? And it's probably coming from the diet. Where else is it going to come from, right? What
Right.
you put in your mouth and what you inhale and what you put on your skin is going to get into your body. So it's going to probably come out to be the food you eat feeds your gut. Well, they already know the food you eat feeds your gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria makes either vitamins or causes problems, right? It can do a bunch of
Yeah.
different things. So,
It seems
um,
like a very extreme diet, and
carnivore,
but from
yeah,
where I'm standing, it does, um, but not as extreme as it used to. Like I never even contemplated this 3 years ago.
yeah,
Now I'm contemplating it. So it's
yeah,
extremely different from the standard Canadian Canada Food Guide sort of diet that
yeah.
most people have been following for a lot of years. It
It's true.
is, but
Yeah, it's way
I don't
different.
know from your end though. Does it feel now that you've been doing it like you're doing
Uh,
something extreme?
yeah, well, it's a good question, dude, because on one hand, yeah, I feel like I'm crazy. Not crazy, crazy, like, but on one hand, I feel like, oh man, yeah, I'm kind of one of those guys that's doing that crazy thing. But but that only lasts a second in my head because at the same time, I'm like, holy shit, you're in the best health of your life, the best,
Yeah,
your best shape of your life, like, and I have the most energy I've ever had. Um, it's what else could it be, right? And
exactly.
and you know and as because the more I learn about it, and sometimes I'm in an echo chamber. Fuck, man, we listen to a lot of shit and we read a lot of shit,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
but I feel so good about it because, like, it's so simple, right? And I avoid a lot of processed food by doing it, right? A lot.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
next to no waste. It's funny, like I was chewing on a bone a second ago before we recorded. Like there's next to no waste. I have a steak and I have a bunch of eggs and
So
bacon.
can I stop you? Chewing on the bone. What do you mean we were chewing on the bone?
Well, I was just
Like
kind of
you mean that
gnawing on
literally?
it. Yeah, I was chewing
You
on the
were?
bone
Like get
after a
all the meat
steak.
off there, or are you trying to break some of the bone off and get that into you too?
No, no, I was just trying to get like the cartilage and bone off or whatever it is, the off
Yeah,
off the
exactly.
end of a rib steak. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were
Um,
eating bones too. Be
no,
hard to
no,
keep.
no. But I've been hearing that some people in the carnivore community actually grinding up and eating things like bone meal, just to kind of
Yeah,
get
eh?
extra things like calcium and certain
Yeah.
phosphorus, right? But
See,
yeah, so it doesn't seem extreme to me because it was almost a natural progression. But also at the same time, like in like when I did something that was sort of extreme 3 years ago, and that has helped me lose like 100 pounds, now 115 with this carnivore, right? I've kind of decided to say f off to any sort of
yeah.
like. I'll be honest, right? I kind of said f off to the standard Canadian food guide like 5 years
Oh yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Even when I swore off grains, I was like, not swore off grains, but when I started stop eating grains, I was like, well, I'm clearly better. I'm clear, and even if it's not better for everybody, and I need to say this, right? It's
Yeah.
clearly better for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, clearly better. And the only diet you should really give a shit about is your own diet,
Yeah. True.
right? Or your kid's
But
diet.
it's this thing about it though that you see other people that are overweight and suffering, and
Yeah.
and
So
and we were
yeah,
both there. You
yeah.
just want to grab them and shake them. It's the fucking
Exactly.
sugar,
Well,
man.
exactly, and that's the part of you that wants to help, and that's the good part.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the part.
Yeah.
So we want to evangelize. We want
I
to
don't
say,
want to
man,
stick it to this big sugar. How
uh,
how in the world? I want to know how red meat was demonized the way it was, and it's coming out now that it's
Yep.
not the demon that they said it was for so many years. On
Yeah.
old 1950s research, the
Hmm.
red meat industry takes a frickin' pounding. And why
Yeah.
did they take it laying down? They got to be able to be a little more powerful than that. Or
Well,
are
yeah.
these friggin' sugar companies
Yeah.
that powerful? And I'm hearing these days that big sugar
Yeah.
is more powerful than oil
Oh, it's
above
crazy,
government.
dude. It's
Well,
crazy.
we know who the oil companies are. Who are the sugar companies?
Well,
Who are they?
it's these big sugar
Where's the
companies.
name?
I think it's like honestly, I don't want to. It's like General Mills and these people. These people making grains. The same people making grains and products using the high fructose corn syrup, and the same people using the highly processed grains. They're probably making the grains, or they're probably some sort of involvement. And I can't say they probably, but they're probably some sort of involvement, right? But they're doing it, and I'll tell you why they took it laying down. The meat people. And this is an interesting fact because 80 to 90% of all the farms in the US, right, are small family farms. They're all like 60 to like 200 heads of cattle. It's crazy, dude. And people don't realize
Yeah,
this that
it's
most of
not
them are
this.
super, super small. So most ranchers have a couple hundred heads of cattle and so they're not super powerful. What do? You're not going to get together with people from all over your state. And there are
Centralized.
coalitions and there are associations, of course, but I think they just get shut up, right? Like we grew up in the era where eggs were demonized every decade, and
Yes,
they come back
for
for
sure.
one day, one year, and then they'd fucking be demonized again. Like in my opinion, they're second to beef. I believe beef is, or like ruminant animals that eat grass. Beef is number one, and then eggs would be number two. It's amazing, right? It's a great food. It's perfect. There's no, it's whatever. But for some people though, they can't eat eggs. Don't eat eggs. But it's
Yeah.
so they shouldn't get demonized. And we're learning now as well, like fat, like cholesterol. Now I want to talk to you about salt as well, because dude, how much salt I need is unbelievable right now. At first, I felt really guilty eating a lot of salt, but especially now on this carnivore. It's crazy. Every time, I work out and I do kung fu, and I'm still heavy, so when I'm lifting body weight stuff, right? So it's crazy. I need a lot more salt. But yeah, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it's um it's not that hard because it's kind of felt pretty natural. But also it's like the best food I like on the plate was the meat anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
And,
yeah. That's what you're
and
there for.
yeah, and now that I realize with keto that I do need more salt, right? I need like 5 or 6 grams of salt a day, man. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like sodium chloride. Yeah, probably like 5 or 6, even sometimes 7 grams of salt. And I've been reading a lot of people, a lot of people, especially people that are athletic, or just kind of active in general. It sounds ridiculous calling yourself an athlete when you just do something regularly, right? But just someone who's active, you need a lot of salt. You're sweating a lot, and some people are even hyper sweaters of salt, hyper excretors of
Yeah.
salt. Sodium. So I don't
They
know.
need
It
to
doesn't
back
hurt
in.
you. Yeah, it doesn't hurt me.
I've been
And
noticing the odd muscle cramp lately, so
yeah,
I kind of up the salt too. So yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
do
And
that. And
it's
also, and
amazing
there's
how instantly it goes away.
yeah, for sure. And then interesting, the correlation and the balance between salt and water, right? I've even recently read that a lot of times when people think they're dehydrated, it's really not. You're not really low in water, but you're low in sodium. You're low in salt, right? So sometimes even just a little bit of salt will help you. So it's not really a water thing, but. I don't know. Like, and I drink the broth as well sometimes, right? So that's kind of carnivore. It's just a bone broth. I'll mix that up, drink that as well. But I when I recently went to one meal a day, that was an interesting kind of experiment as well. And I dropped like 5 pounds in a week when I
Yeah.
went to one. Yeah, I dropped my breakfast, but I still added that amount of calories at supper time first. So I added another steak. So I had 2 steaks a night, still around 2,000 calories, um, which is still a lot of calories, right? I mean, it's not too much, but it's not by any means too low, too little. For me, what am I, 5'10", right? So, um, but yeah, and it was great. I lost like 5 pounds, and then now I'm basically on and off. Sometimes I'll have breakfast, sometimes I won't. Um, but I'm kind of upping my exercise a little more. So I do the third. I started with the 20 20 20. I still do 30 30 30 now. I can up it to 40 40 40 pretty soon. Um,
Yeah.
but doing
Good.
that, and then yeah, I do the kung fu. I still do 3 days a week. So that's kind of how I've been doing the carnivore thing. Um, but I'm curious to you, like, are you hesitant for any reason? Like, is it like is it kind of
Well,
is it going into the same camp of hey man, they were fucking lying to us about everything else. Why not this? That's where I'm at now.
No. I'm absolutely convinced now that this is the proper way that I need to eat for myself,
The
because
keto
I've
kind
gotten
of way.
myself down to a proper weight. Yeah, a proper weight. I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in carnivore, to start maybe losing that little extra that I'm after to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're saying, did I feel like in the beginning I felt like I was a little bit crazy because I didn't have the answers to give to people that were telling me that I was doing something unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it seems like when you're on this diet, you're the target of a lot of
Oh shit. Yeah.
of the naysayers a lot.
Yeah.
That, and sometimes those naysayers are overweight too, which
Oh, dude, most of them,
makes
man.
me chuckle.
Not
Yeah.
mostly, but I'd say, yeah, 50% of the people that are really hard on me, um, not
Love you.
really hard. Nobody's really hard on me, right? But yeah, a lot of people that are kind of combative, or I have among the first people sometimes to come back with, you know, rebuttals, or debating information or contrary information. A
Taking
lot of times,
enjoyment debunk. Yeah.
well, I think a lot of those people, if I were to go get inside their heads for a second, maybe those people have tried to diet a lot as well. So I can't really blame them.
Yes.
Maybe they're
Yes.
also
So they
defensive.
probably do have a lot of information to share,
Yeah.
because they have probably read up on a lot of things
They're probably
to
pissed and
combat. Yeah,
frustrated as well. Yeah.
that's right.
I bet you it comes from a place of pain, man, because that's where I was forever.
Yeah.
Like forever. I'm like dealing with pain just from friggin' 20 years ago of being overweight. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's but yeah, no, I get it. I mean, especially if somebody is
Mm.
tried something and they're invested in it. That's another thing too, man. There's a lot of people that have invested in these certain businesses and certain philosophies, right? And you can do them, and they're great. But there are a lot of people who don't like the idea of me saying don't buy anything, right? And it's hard to get advertisers and sponsors when you say don't buy it. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. Because they
You
might
know,
be sugar.
well, or because it's like, yeah, am I? It's hard. Am I going to be that guy that says never buy a product, never make an alternative snack, never do this? No, I'll never say that, right? But I will say that optimal, your goal should probably just eat real animal food, right?
Yeah,
Or just
yeah.
real whole food, whatever you want to incorporate,
Whole
but real
food.
whole
Yeah.
food.
Never mind
That's
all
it.
that junk in the middle,
But if you're
like the
going to buy
grocery.
good food, you're going to buy good meat. That's why I like Papa Earth, right?
Yeah.
PapaEarth.ca, great sponsor, because they're good food, good meat, real Canadian meat. They'll send it to you, right? They'll deliver it to your door. So that's why a sponsor like that is awesome. And that's why, I will get sponsors that are even a snack food, like, pork rinds, something like that. Awesome snack, something like that. So yeah, for sure. But I don't like kind of saying, the crappy, just really snack food, right? Really
Junk
junk
or
food.
sodas. Could you imagine? I
Yeah.
don't think Fatso Radio would look very good with like a major soda brand
Yeah.
on the front of there that's full of sugar.
No,
So that would.
exactly.
So you're gonna have to be clever to find those proper
Oh yeah,
sponsors that
and there are, yeah, and
you
there
guys
are. I
can
mean,
feed off each other, right?
for sure, and there are a lot of them out there, and it's just kind of a matter of getting the word out and getting, Fatso Radio listeners out, right? I mean, the word out. But yeah, so like when you do hear it, and because that's interesting, you've had people kind of say you're crazy now for over a year, well, over what, a year and a half, right?
Absolutely. And now I'm
It's
throwing out the
changing,
carnivore talk out there, and then
but
it's all over again trying
but
to.
and it's
But
interesting though because you're educated
there are a
now.
few more people in my camp now.
Yeah,
So when I am at a social function, there
yeah.
could be one or two other people there that are doing it as well.
And
So
dabbles
it's
in
getting
low
out there.
carb or keto because
Oh
low carb
yeah,
keto is definitely popular now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very low carb.
And
Yeah.
it's funny. Sometimes when I talk in circles, whether at work or just wherever, sometimes when I talk or bring up the idea that I'm carnivore now, I'll get people that are interested or people that are raise their eyebrows that aren't even close to keto, just end up loving meat. Hey, a buddy of mine at work, he's like, "Hey, I love meat." He's like,
Okay.
"You can do that?" I'm like, "You damn right you can do that." So
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of people who just never liked vegetables, man. And I'll be honest, I did like certain vegetables, and I grew up eating a ton of them. But I mean, hey, our buddy Andy, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but Andy doesn't like vegetables, right?
Yeah. God bless them.
Carnivore diets
Why?
for him.
Just eat meat, Andy.
There you go. Shout out
Made
to
in
Andy.
India.
Love you,
Yeah.
buddy.
We challenge you. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, where was I? I had some more questions. So like I gave this a shot, and I didn't go about it. I didn't plan ahead enough. It was kind of spontaneous. Didn't have a lot of food in the fridge at the moment, so I had some eggs. I ate eggs that day, maybe six of them or so, and then
Okay.
I decided to eat about four hamburger patties for supper, and then I shut it down that day.
All right.
So I did that for a couple of days because I was on a
Yeah.
roll with it. And
Yeah.
by the end of the second or third day, I
Yeah.
woke up like a pretty bad headache and
Really?
feeling very depleted. Yeah.
Wow. So
So
you, yeah, I have a couple of thoughts. So do you have a thought of why you might have felt that way?
yeah, I don't think there was
Okay.
enough fat.
Okay. Yeah.
Was one thing,
Mhm.
and likely not enough calories too. Like it just wasn't enough. Should have ate
Maybe.
more.
Yeah, and the other thing I would add is maybe even not enough salt either. Did you have bacon as well or just eggs?
I think like, it's been a little while now,
Yeah.
so either
Okay.
say I did or I didn't, but
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah, and then was it like just two meals and that's it?
2 meals, yeah.
Yeah. I
Maybe,
know that when I first
maybe
went to
bacon, but
yeah, when
thinking
I
not.
first went
Then hamburger patties. Sorry, go ahead.
you know, as in when I first went to just meat after that kind of that first month or so, actually no, even within the first couple of days of that month, I know I read that's when I happened to read about the salt as well. So I did add a little salt, but I didn't notice any depletion at all. Now I wonder, were you salting anything at all, or just kind of patties and that's it?
Yeah, oh, I was putting salt on those patties. I do
Oh,
remember
you
that.
were. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So yeah, I don't know. Then maybe it was just calories.
just a little.
You weren't you didn't count how many calories there were, was it? Did you?
No, no, there
Okay.
were hamburger patties from a popular burger joint,
Okay.
and
Huh.
it just boiled eggs or fried eggs. I forgot, but
Okay. So a couple days and you
probably
woke up
thinking
tired.
fried eggs, scrambled eggs, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit of cream in there or something. But
Yeah. And what did you how did you like alleviate that? What'd you do after?
no,
What'd you
I
eat?
just went back to keto. I went back to keto that after that third day and
Salads again, veggies?
keto again, eating a bit of veggies and just a little bit more, yeah, like on my
Yeah.
plate than I
Okay.
had. Yeah, and then I haven't really gave it. I've been kind of waiting to talk to you and doing a little bit of um, just getting ready to I don't know, incorporate some liver,
Yeah.
organ meats, whatever I can
Oh
get my
yeah,
hands
man.
on,
Let's
and
talk about
definitely
that.
some bone broth in there too
Yeah.
to up the nutrients, I guess, because it's the only thing I could think. But like, I don't. When you just dropped from, did you kind of dabble day on, day off, day on, day off? But at first, with before you did that month long
Yeah.
carnivore stint a couple years ago, that was your first real crack at it. Were
Yeah,
you
last
doing
year,
some
yeah.
dabbling, like a day
I
here, day on, day off?
I would for sure. Yeah, there would be days where I just wouldn't eat any salad, right? Or I would just have the steak and not bothering cutting up the romaine, right?
When I led into the keto diet, I was kind of dabbling in no carb days leading
Okay.
up to it. You know, at
Yeah.
first it was like just one and see how you feel, and then okay, well let's do a couple of days, and well I do feel fine, and then
Yeah.
kind of go back to regular eating, and then with the plan in the back of my head, well I'm going to clean the fridge and the cupboards out, and then I'm going to get on this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, finally one day I was like, no, enough's enough, and then I slid right into it, and I didn't
Yeah.
get too much of this keto flu, but I'm wondering if what I was having there was a bit of that with when I
Well,
did carnivore for 3 days.
yeah, I don't know. I know I've kind of read a lot about um, when you switch to just meat, right? There's a change in your digestion, right? Your bacteria and all like we were saying the gut flora or whatever, it changes. So over a couple of days, you know, there may be a little bit of dehydration. You may be a little bit maybe you needed to add a little water extra. I don't know, you know, because I don't know.
Mhm.
What was you remember what you're like? Were you running to the bathroom? You weren't diarrhea
No,
or
no, none of
constipation?
that.
No,
None of
you're
that.
fine.
Just woke up that
Okay,
one morning, headache
tired.
and tired, depleted. Yeah, but I had
Uh,
a long sleep, so there
yeah.
was no
Huh.
issues. It was exactly food that was
Wow.
the problem, and I think just I don't know, maybe the quality wasn't enough.
Yeah. Or maybe you said
There,
maybe not enough fat. Maybe enough calories, but not enough fat. That could be it.
like a lot of hamburger out there, and especially in the burger joints, they're still
Yeah.
on the low fat idea, eh? So
Well, yeah. I'm sure the fat is probably extra lean or lean. Yeah. Or
yeah,
the burgers are probably
yeah,
lean.
yeah.
Um, but it's like, you know, interesting to do that for a couple of days. Like have, you know, 3 days of ribeyes, see how you feel. You know?
I guess you know what I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
my bone broth ready to go,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have some liver. Are you eating organ meats?
Yeah. So I want to talk
Yeah.
about that too. Yeah. So,
So like maybe
one,
1 or 2 days a week, or
yeah, honestly, I'm reading more and hearing more and more. One of the podcasts I listen to all the time is
not
called,
a daily thing. Eating isn't a daily thing to me anymore. It's not like, oh, I need this for the day. It's
yeah,
I think
no,
more
it's,
about like in a week.
Cyclical, exactly. I think more like
Yeah,
3 or 4 days would be better. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because so
Okay.
something like liver, they say, I mean, you can eat liver every day. I mean, I think they recommend not to more than 100 grams a day or something. But fuck, man, I'm hearing doctors all the time online saying they're eating, 400, a pound a day, a half a pound a day, or whatever. You could eat 100 grams a day, no problem. But
Yeah.
what I started doing is just having a little bit of liver once a week, and then I would have like liver pate. Fuck, you can eat that. You can eat a can of that. You can eat one of those every day,
Yeah.
right? They're delicious. I put that on a
You know what
pork
I'm worried
rind, or
about?
I put on what? What are you worried about?
I think it's like the older generation that's still around that are the only ones pretty much eating this liver pate
Yeah,
and liver in the grocery stores.
yeah,
And if we don't get going,
yeah.
you're not even going to be able to find it in a grocery store
It's
in
true.
10 more years.
You know what? There may be like a ghost generation that dies in between us and the old people. Seriously,
Yeah, I know.
because the people that are 100 right now or 90, they're still doing the things that they did 80 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
some of those people, if they're still
yeah,
that long. But the people that are 60 and 70 right now, they're barely getting there, maybe. I don't know, right?
yeah.
And so I believe that there could be this crazy gap, and people like me and you, and that's why we're needed, man. We got to fucking spread the word, brother, because it's
Right.
fine to eat liver.
Yeah,
Like people thrive. The reason why pate is still in the diet of humans today is because it's amazing. Why would it be in the diet? Why would it still be here? Right?
exactly.
Twinkies are not going to be around forever. Right? Pop Tarts are not going to be around forever. Right? Not thousands and thousands of years, maybe 50 years. You know what I mean? It's a very different kind of spectrum. And like you said, salamis and how we've cured meats over hundreds and we've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years, right? They've,
Right.
the idea that they've got, that type of food got us through winters. That I think that idea has to be revisited. I think is that's the food that we thrive on. That's the food that we've evolved eating, right?
Yeah.
And that's why eating carnivore is easy for me as well because A, I need fat. I know that now, right? I know my body is converted to fat burner,
Yeah.
right? And B, I need salt. And C, I need protein. I'm working out, and I still weigh 200 pounds, and protein is the essential, kind of nutrient. So that's what I get. I get that from meat. I get that from salami. I get that from
Yeah.
cheese. That's why cheese is great too. Um,
They had a news article or a just a video on the news, a local news,
okay.
here they were just acknowledging this man at Christmas time,
Hmm.
for you know, the nice things that he does, and
Yeah.
they got speaking with him, and like he helps out his neighbors a lot. His neighbors really appreciate him, so they nominate him for this award. But the guy
Okay.
is in his late 90s,
Wow.
and then so they were got quite interested in, well, how are you still so active? Because a lot of, like, he gets up on people's roofs and shovels their roofs off, and he's in his late 90s.
Holy shit.
And this guy, so the lady says, well, what's your secret? He goes, fat. He goes, I eat my fat. Fat is where I get energy from, and that's what
Oh,
keeps me going.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was
brilliant, man.
incredible. Yeah,
He's awesome. Well, I mean, he's ketogenic before anybody was ketogenic.
yeah. He's just, that's what I eat. It's
Well,
not
it's no,
keto, nothing.
yeah,
It's not,
it's no
doesn't have a
bullshit. It's
title
just
on it. It's just like I eat fat. I eat
exactly.
my meat and I eat my
Well,
fat. And
and
it's
it's
like,
funny. So because I'm spending more time now in this carnivore space, I'm hearing a lot. So you can get specialty fats. There's this Iberian pork fat you can get. Beef suet. So raw beef fat people are eating, and that's the other thing. Carnivore people are eating raw meat, dude. It's like,
yeah,
I mean,
that's,
it's still a stretch too, right? But how much of a stretch is it once you're carnivore?
yeah,
Right?
it's
Like
not.
I like a steak of rare, right? I mean, in the middle of that steak, it's raw, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, and you like
Nothing bad
probably the
has ever
same, right?
happened to me. I even
No.
cook my hamburgers a little bit pink in the middle.
Oh yeah. And at the same time,
Nothing's ever
if
happened.
I cook it more, I like it still. I mean, whatever. I'll eat it, whatever. We went to a Korean barbecue place the other day, and I was cooking, these little grills where you cook your own meat kind of thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was cooking a little beef short ribs, and I thought one was done, and I didn't even pay attention. I just threw it in my mouth, trying to eat it, and it was completely raw in the middle.
That was it.
And I just
We ate
fucking
short
ate
ribs
it.
last night. We
It
made
was
short ribs. They're awesome.
it was delicious. It was
Yeah.
it was completely raw. It was just like kind of brown gray for a second because it hit the grill. I thought it was there for like 5 minutes, right? So I just picked it up and ate it. But it was delicious. It's whatever you marinate it in. It's got salt on it, whatever. And I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like So, I mean, me, I eat so much meat that my stomach is definitely, acclimated. It's been definitely adjusted, right, to eating meat. That's the other thing too, is that people don't realize we have a very acidic stomach, right? A pH of like anywhere between 1 to 3, usually around 2 to 3, which is pretty acidic, right? So it can digest. And that's what it's for, is digesting meat. So
Yeah.
anyway, um, yeah, where were we, dude? It's
Well,
like,
I'm starting to feel that way about vegetables too. These certain doctors talking about their how they want to defend themselves. I don't believe any type of vegetable wants to be eaten any more than a cow does.
well, exactly. I don't
I
believe
don't
it
know if
either.
I've
Why
said
would
that
they?
before. Like, why would they? And they're all set up so that they don't have to. They got the tough skin, the exterior,
Yeah.
and they can change their makeup if they know they're being threatened,
Yeah.
so
Well,
that they're less palatable. And so, why would we think that just eating anything just because it grows out of the ground that it's good for you? Like peppers are very, very hot, like certain ones.
yeah,
We've
exactly.
we've forced ourselves to 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 adjust our taste buds
I know.
to take that in. When you really think about that,
Like, why would
like
it make
that
sense?
screaming pepper doesn't want you to eat it. That's why it's screaming hot.
I know it's
So we
insane.
just keep doing it over and over and over and forcing ourselves to do it, and through generations and time,
Yeah,
like now it's a part of our diet. And some people every day, but
yeah.
like
If you think about
if it
like,
makes your stomach rumble and you
I
don't
know.
feel good and you're going to the toilet, maybe the
What other
vegetable's not good for you. You know,
what
like it's
other
not.
animal in nature would want to scream an asshole?
Yeah, they don't.
They
Like, what
don't.
the fuck is this?
No, they don't.
Uh,
And you know what's funny, dude? Now that like I said, a lot less no plants, barely. Sometimes I do have the odd berries because there's kids always eat berries, right? So sometimes I'll have a blueberry, or raspberry, and they don't bother me at all. So,
yeah,
I'm not 100%. I'm like 99%. But it's funny, like, there's a lot of to a lot of people. There's a lot of plant. Toxins, really. They're plant nutrients, or to some people they say these phytonutrients, but for a lot of people they're toxins, things like lectins and things like even
yeah,
gluten,
scary.
right? It's toxic for
Gluten.
a lot of people. A lot of people
Mm,
with gluten sensitivity, either they're celiac, even if they're not celiac, just anybody who eats bread and it bothers you, don't eat bread. Just do
yeah.
apply that logic to any food and you'll
Yeah,
probably be
and
fine.
by bother you, if you're fat, look at yourself, man. Like we were too, and I don't mind throwing
Yeah.
that word around.
No, I know
Uh, have a
it's
look
tough
good long
sometimes,
look.
but yeah, I
If
hear you,
your
dude.
body's an odd shape, it's not the shape it should be, then
Yeah.
you're sensitive to something, and you need to get it into your head to get that something out. And I'm going
Yeah.
to lead you to believe, hopefully, that something is sugar. Sugar is going to make you more hungry. And
Yeah.
if you want to take in less food and you want to reduce your body size, you have to reduce your calories. But if you're hungry all the goddamn time,
Mhm.
then you can't stop eating. Like you're just going to go to the
Yeah.
cupboards. You're going to go to the fridge. You're going to go there. But
Oh,
if you're not hungry all the time, then it's easier. And I'm
you're
telling you, if you
you're
remove
100%
sugar,
right.
you won't be hungry like
You're
you used to
100%
be.
right.
And
You are.
then you can eat less.
No, you're
But if
100%
you
right,
want to
dude.
remain a
And
sugar addict, then get
yeah.
used to how you look in the mirror because that's how you're going to be.
Well, and here's a way to look at it too. Like, if you're always hungry and you're always eating, right, and you're overweight, then but you're nutrient deficient. You're
Yeah.
nutrient deficient. You're obviously nutrient deficient because when you switch to eating, for example, like the way we eat or like the way I eat, for example, I can say there's so much nutrients in meat and organ meat. So let's talk about that as well in a minute. But there's so much nutrients in eggs and meat and organ meat and cheese that my body's like, I'm good. Carlo, you don't have to be obsessed about food for the next 12 hours. You can go and do what you have to do. And that's essentially how this is like how free you
It
feel,
is
I feel.
freedom. I'm free from that old self, that heavy body I was carrying
Exactly.
around.
I'm not thinking
And
about
you
the
too.
next meal all the
And
time, all the time, all the time.
nutrients. Look at your face.
Yeah.
Look at your face in those pictures. Mine too.
Oh
When
yeah,
our
man.
faces were freaking fat. You
Bloated,
look at
swollen.
under your eyes,
Yeah.
the dark circles under your eyes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
I know. And it's
what were we
funny
doing
because
to ourselves?
we've known each other for a long ass time, right?
Right?
So it's like, I know in the over years, just that bloated, that swollen feeling, that feeling like to, man, how many, I don't even know how long it was painful for me to reach over and tie my shoes. Like, dude, you know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
gotta
And
hold
I'm,
your breath while you tie your shoes. Yeah.
oh, and I'm someone who's super flexible, me, right? And it was still
Yeah.
hard for me.
Still
So
hard.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. And that's why sometimes, like, me and Adam are screwing around and kung fu and martial arts. Like, dude, I feel like a kid again. I'm trying to do things that I couldn't even try to do when I was 18. Because I don't weigh 300 pounds anymore. I can do it now. It's
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, so organ meat, let's get to it, dude. It was
Okay.
natural for me to always dabble in things like pate because I loved it, even on crackers, right? Just growing up, my
Oh,
parents
me
would always
too.
have appetizers and right, and antipasto and stuff, and I love that stuff. And even the Italians, the head cheese, they'd kind of make their own version. Um, but once I went real strict carnivore or just fully carnivore, then definitely kind of consciously added more because I know that sometimes there's nutrients and micronutrients in plants that you sometimes have a hard time getting in meat. Sometimes some people have a hard time getting certain levels of potassium or manganese or even magnesium sometimes from meat. But I mean a lot of fresh meat. But I want to also get that. So liver, heart, kidneys, gizzard, lungs, any kind of like all those organs are super, super nutrient dense, right?
Yeah.
So I try and eat beef liver often, whether it's the liver pate in the cans or I'll get pork liver as well in the cans. I've eaten chicken hearts about 3 or 4 times this year, 3 or 4 different times. I love chicken hearts, dude. You can marinate them in whatever you want,
Yeah.
some kind of an acid, like a tomato base or a lemon base, and then put them on skewers and barbecue them. Delicious. Yeah.
Nice.
It's almost like a red meat, right?
Oh, I wish you weren't so far away so we could do some of this together sometime.
Oh, dude, I'll be
Yeah.
coming over for Christmas. Maybe we can have a quick
Oh,
barbecue
great.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then like liver, pan fry liver, just on butter, right? Do that. And then nice things like pate. Yeah. You have you eaten liver? Yeah, you like it, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do like liver.
Oh,
I
good.
like to have bacon with it.
Oh
It
yeah, that's
just for the
great.
taste. Like for the first few bites of liver, I always enjoy, and then when you
Yeah.
start getting into it,
Yeah.
it's I
Yeah.
don't know, it's a bit much, you know. So I
Yeah.
feel like I need a contrast there.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. I kind of feel the same way, and I've been trying to figure out, and I haven't really talked to anybody about it, but I wonder. So there's something that I've kind of experienced that when I'm eating especially food that's super nutrient dense and super satisfying, over time it's just I've needed less and less food in general, right? Overall. And I feel like maybe we just need super small portions when it's super nutrient dense, right? Or we're just not really used to the flavor. So I'm not sure. Maybe we just have to get used to it again as a culture, right? A daily thing.
right, yeah, that could be
Because our
true.
grandparents were eating it probably daily.
We got to get over our taste buds. Everybody needs to.
Well, I mean,
That's
step one was getting
it's a
over the sugar
real
addiction,
problem.
dude.
Getting past your taste buds
Yeah.
is a real problem, and breaking those addictions. Yeah, that sugar that makes your tongue just dance, I guess, you know. It
And that's the thing about sugar too is that it's it's not just like that it really tastes good. It does ruin your taste for other things, I think, right? When you
yeah.
remove sugar, you get a taste back. It's awesome,
Yeah.
right?
Well, here
It's
let
almost
me
like
say
quitting
this.
smoking. You get your taste back, you know?
Yeah. Condiments. I don't use them anymore. I thought
No,
in my head, okay,
yeah, I
like
salt. That's it.
eggs taste good enough on their own. Like, what
Yeah.
do I need a condiment for my eggs for? Just
Oh
get
yeah.
used to that. And then my condiment is the bacon beside it. It's
Exactly.
delicious. What do I
And
need
salt.
ketchup all over that crap for? I
No,
don't.
exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
some salt. Yeah, salt is my
Oh
condiment.
yeah. I mean,
Let's say
salt
that.
and egg yolk is a dream come true. It's like the best taste
Delicious.
in the world.
It is. Yeah, I don't need that crap. So the less you put any of these additives on there, the more
Yeah.
you appreciate that food and the
Exactly.
more the easy you are to be satisfied by that meal.
And the quicker you break your fucking addiction to sugar, and that's what it is,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
When it comes
It's
down to it, and that's we need to bang that drum. It's like even like people get really defensive. People get really, really defensive when I say
I'm
it,
not addicted to
but
some.
we're all exactly, and that's the thing, right? We're all addicted as a society. We're all addicted, and the people who see it the most are the people who are sort of outside it now, right? Like I can't say I'm outside of it because if I have a Snickers right now, I'll want another one tomorrow. So it's like one of those things. You're never done being an addict, I guess.
No.
But now that I've seen what it's like for it not to control me, it's unbelievable how widespread it is, dude. In my
Yeah.
office, every day at work, everywhere I go, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I don't blame anybody for it. You can't blame any one individual because a lot of people really think they're doing good things by bringing in donuts, right? They
Yeah, yeah.
really do.
Making everybody happy. Yeah.
And I am the crazy guy who always says, "Oh my God, this is poison. Oh my God, this is shit," right? And now it's funny. When I started saying this, when I was 320 pounds, I was the idiot fat guy who's almost Captain Obvious that donuts are bad, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm the guy who doesn't
So
look like
fat
he has.
shaming. You're fat shaming
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly. Now
I've
I'm
been doing
fat
that.
shaming.
Scotty,
Oh
stop
yeah,
that. Don't fat shame me. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Like,
now
no,
I'm the guy
I'm
who
help
doesn't
you,
look like I
man.
have a
Like,
weight problem, but it's like the well, is an alcoholic. You can't see if someone's an alcoholic, right? You can't see if someone's a drug addict. You can't see if so yeah, and exactly. It looks like I'm fat shaming when really I'm saying, listen, I have to almost tell them my story first before I say a fucking word, and that's exhausting,
let's go through my
right?
pictures. Yeah. And
I
then I'll
do, and
show you
sometimes I
that
keep a before and
I was
after real
270
quick.
pounds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Before. And
and I
I
gotta tell you a
can go
story.
ahead and tell you your weight. Yeah. Go for it, man.
Exactly. So the other day at work, I was going downstairs and having they have a little cafeteria at work, right? It's like a hot grill. So I get my eggs. When I do have breakfast, I have 8 eggs, double bacon. Okay, I got my 8 eggs and double bacon, and and somebody looks at me and someone always kind of gives me a smile. I mean, the cook and the chef, they all know me. They're great people. But sometimes there's someone who sees me and kind of looks at me like, oh yeah, just a snack, haha. But the odd time someone will actually say something like, "Oh my God, how's your heart?" or "Oh my God, I could never eat that," whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but it's funny. Like sometimes I'll just smile and whatever. But the odd time I'll say, you know what? I've actually lost weight. I've lost more weight the more eggs I've eaten. And I get into it. I said, I started here 300 pounds eating 2 eggs, 3 eggs, 4 eggs, 5 eggs. I keep on losing more weight. And like, oh my God, that would never work for me. I have high cholesterol. And someone even said that the other day at work. They said, oh, I have high cholesterol. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
people don't realize that it's actually sugar and that crappy food that you eat, that high carb food that affects your cholesterol more than eating eggs would ever do. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people don't realize that it's not the cholesterol you're eating that actually affects your cholesterol, your blood, your serum level cholesterol, nearly as much as the cholesterol your body actually produces. So it's really really misleading to say a high cholesterol food is bad for you, and it's not. I eat all my food is high cholesterol. I eat eggs, I eat butter, I eat beef,
Yep.
right?
Me too. And
And
whose cholesterol is good? Both of ours. I had
exactly.
mine
Like,
tested too. Yeah.
you have your test recently?
And
Oh, it's
yeah,
amazing.
just very recently. Yeah, I was just at a doctor a couple weeks ago, and she says you have excellent cholesterol.
Exactly.
And
So
she,
you're in a good weight range, right? What are you probably perfect weight range? What are you supposed to weigh? 200? Like your
yeah,
height? What are you, six
I think
two?
I'm still considered a little overweight. So
Jeez, that's funny.
6'2". Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, to be
If you
honest,
just Google, if you do a quick Google on it, I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
probably like 198,
I think
200 pounds.
212 or something.
Yeah.
12 was
So
the
there you
max.
go. And that's like your cholesterol is great, your weight is great, you feel good, you can do whatever you want, right? And that's
Yeah,
exactly how I felt. Like I went to my doctor, she's like, Carlo, if someone busts your balls about your about all the fat and cholesterol you're eating, show them these numbers. I'm like, there you go. You're 41, right? You're active, right? And, whatever. I can do more than I can ever do when I was younger. Oh,
she
and I
did
have
tell me I'm
cancer. And I have
no
cancer.
longer at. Oh yeah, she did tell me I'm
That's the
no longer
best.
at risk for a heart attack though. I'm not in that category of high risk or any risk.
You're
Low
at no
risk. Heart
you're
attack.
at low
Low risk.
risk now.
Yeah,
That is awesome. Holy shit. I wonder. I
yeah.
wonder. I gotta see a
Uh,
doctor, see what they
My
categorize me.
doctor actually went ahead and said she was proud of me for doing keto. I don't know if I've
Really?
said this on the podcast. She said, "Oh, I'm proud of you." She
Oh
goes,
my
"How much
God.
weight did you actually lose? Get on the scale. We're going to do this." So I did lose 60 pounds in the time
Dude.
that I was there. And then she said, "I'm not allowed um, to push this diet,"
Wow.
but she goes, "In 20 years' time, mark my
Yeah.
words,
Yeah.
this will be the way of eating that
Oh,
everybody's supposed to do
standard. Absolutely.
once all the truth comes out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be standard practice, 100%. That'll be the recommendation. And you know what? I think there'll be a lot less doctors needed in the world if people actually started eating like this.
Maybe, yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like they're finding so many people's illnesses and diseases and even just disabilities, dude, that are improved by eating this way. Like you've heard about it, or you've heard of different ailments,
Uh,
right? People, everything from MS to
yeah.
diabetes. Number one thing.
Autism,
What? Oh,
diabetes.
diabetes is funny because it's a glucose. So it's a glucose kind of unbalancing glucose, whatever. It's a, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's a disease of glucose kind of unbalancing, right? Inability to balance glucose levels in your blood. So why wouldn't they tell people just cut out sugar
Yeah.
years ago?
They actually tell them they need it.
Well, yeah, they tell them they need it often
Like,
too. So
need it
now
off.
you cause
Yeah.
your body to burn more glucose more often. Your metabolism is always going. You're always, and every time you're eating is more inflammation, right? It's not good for you, man, to eat all day long. We're not cows. Just
No,
bottom
it's
line,
not.
we're not cows.
No, and I believe that now too.
Yeah, we're
Ridiculous
and
talk.
the funny is like we come from people that we know we're hunter gatherers, right? The emphasis should have been on hunting. We were never grazers, ever grazers. What crazy evolution would end up having people that were once hunters to just eat plants? It would never make sense, right?
No,
Hunting is the apex, right? The predators, you know what I mean? The carnivores, the super carnivores, the ones who ate, they're the ones at the top of the food chain.
that's right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the all the other primates, or all the other super intelligent mammals, very intelligent mammals, they all eat meat, right? Dolphins, whales, chimps, they eat meat.
Is that right? Eh?
Oh
It's a
yeah,
fun
not
fact.
tons and
Yeah.
tons of meat, chimps. I don't think chimps eat tons of meat, but they do eat meat. You know, they'll eat. I think monkeys even sometimes. They'll eat bugs and they'll eat like, oh yeah. Um,
They can get their
but
hands on it. They're eating it. Yeah.
yeah, and then all the carnivores, all the predators out there, all the cats. Holy shit!
Mm.
You know, all the big dogs, right? It's yeah, they're no dummies. You have to be smart to be to be a hunter. So let's use our fucking brains, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and you know what? The thing is, I can't. You know, me and you, we've joked about vegetarians and vegans, and I like to get in debates because I do want to spread the love. Honestly, I do want to spread the word and spread information and educate people and stuff like that. But I think it is crazy, and maybe we could talk about it. But I think it is crazy to spread the idea that if you eat less cows and you eat less beef, it's going to save the world. It's not going to save the world. It's quite honestly not going to save the world. Having less plastic, yes. Less processed food, yes. Less monocrops, maybe, yes. I think that's the stuff that's going to help save the world. Less cars, less pollution, yes. But not less burgers. What do you think about that?
Yeah. No, and it's like you need the animals to naturally put like to take and to put back the
Yeah,
fertilizer and move it around. Like
exactly.
there's no reason we have to be doing this unethical factory confinement farming stuff that
That's
I
right.
don't think anybody wants to see that. No
Yeah,
meat eaters want to see that. For the, like I'm all for the ethical treatment of animals too. I don't want to see any animal abuse
yeah,
to come to my plate. I want it done ethically, and I want
exactly.
them raised properly on what they should be eating as well.
Yeah. No, I agree
And
100%.
the proof is there that that can be done, and it can be done way more efficiently than any type of factory farm.
Yeah,
On a large scale confinement factory farm where animals are stacked upon animals,
yeah,
but they don't show you is the big giant fields and stuff that they have to truck in and truck out to get the job done when they could just do it on their own land and rotate the animals around,
yeah,
eating fresh grass um, and keep moving along, and then their food just keeps growing for them. It's very cyclical,
yeah,
and it makes the most sense, and it leaves this the smaller carbon footprint. And then everybody's worried about this carbon footprint. Apparently, grass is one of the best ways
yeah.
of fixing that problem too. It's
So
trees
grass
are
and
important too, but
yeah, grass
but
and manure and what
yeah,
animals drive into the ground, and then yeah, absolutely, it drives new roots, and yeah,
uh,
absolutely, it's like there's a lot of great people out there, like this Joe Saladin out there in Polyface Farms. There's um, Dr. Alan Savory has a Savory Institute where he's basically saying, showing how we can do regenerative farming all around the world. Having cattle in the same area as where you're growing food actually helps you grow food better. It makes sense. They knew that. Farmers have always known from the beginning of time you need fertilizer, right? Where are you going to get it?
yeah,
Cows, right?
yeah.
You need chickens and certain birds to help, debug your certain fields. They've known that animals farmers will bring in bugs and birds and other animals to go in and kind of help get rid of certain bugs or certain pests or whatever it is like that. So they can live together. They have for forever, and it's just going to be going back to more sustainable, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah. And think about
More
how
local too, right?
vegetables come to our plate,
Oh
and
yeah,
how much is wrong with all that, and
plus the
how
pesticides
unethical
and the
that
chemicals.
process is. The
Yeah,
pesticides, the chemicals, the alteration
yeah,
from what a plant used to be. You've
yeah.
talked about breads and stuff that they used to be way different, and now they're
Oh yeah.
like they've genetically altered wheat
Yeah,
to
Frankenbread.
grow. Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So you're gonna try and digest that. But the thing is about fruits and vegetables, and when they're ripening up on trucks on the way to us, they're picked the
Yeah.
wrong times, you know, and a fruit like or vegetable that's growing, the purpose is that it grows to ripeness. It looks attractive to humans or animals
Hmm.
at the point when it's ready.
Yeah.
And before that, it's not. Animals know not to eat that fruit before it's ready.
Yeah. It's
When it's
true.
ripe and ready, then the
Yeah.
animal eats it. It takes it, it digests it, and it surrounds those seeds in a perfect little ball of fertilizer that drops on the ground away from where it was growing, and then
Yeah.
it can continue on. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be picking stuff before it's ripe. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
eating it like most vegetables. I guess we should be eating them cooked,
Yeah. Probably.
especially if they're picked early.
Yeah.
Uh,
And for a lot of people, I mean, if you have to, it brings another point. If you have to cook a vegetable, if you have to process something, if you have to wash it and strain it and ferment and do all the shit, oh my God, that's a lot of work. And I understand there was a time, there was a place where you needed it, and we still may need that again. But if you don't need to do all that and you can just have a piece of meat, like it is a simple diet too, right?
it is very simple. Just cook a piece of meat. It
Cook a
takes
piece of meat.
10 minutes at most to
Oh,
warm up the
10
frying
minutes.
pan,
Yeah,
flip it on both sides, and then it's
for
on your
sure.
plate and you're eating it. Like
It
there's
saved
no
time.
prep.
Oh yeah.
Potatoes. How long does it take to cook a
Oh,
potato or
took us
rice
an
or
hour. Holy
yeah,
shit. I know.
pain in the butt.
Yeah. And there's no like comparable to a meat, you're getting no nutrition compared to a piece of steak. Right?
Yeah,
The other thing about vegetables too is that I mean a lot of people say yes, you can get more, you can get protein and you can get all the vitamins you need and all that stuff from plants. You apparently can, but it takes a lot more. Your body doesn't digest it as well and it's not as bioavailable, right? So even if it does take you a lot more, let's look at the psychology of it. You need to eat more food. What about less food? We never
yeah.
talk about
Well, then
that.
that
What about
fights
less
the
food?
argument. Oh, Carlo, but that must be so expensive eating
Yeah,
meat all the time. Here, I'm just
exactly.
playing the
Yeah, yeah, devil's
defense. We have
advocate
to
for
deal with
sure.
on a regular basis, right?
It's true. I do. I
So
hear it.
expensive. Yeah, well,
That's
you're
not.
eating. You get to eat the best quality food, and you
Yeah,
eat once a day,
yeah,
and you get the best stuff into you. How is
yeah,
that going to be more expensive?
exactly.
You're buying less food now,
You buy in
and then
bulk, right? There's ways to save money. Oh, for
then
sure.
you're
You
going to
buy,
have less trips to the hospital
yeah,
and dealing with the medical world
yeah,
as you grow older.
it's true. And you're gonna hopefully live longer. Hopefully, right? Like
It's an
that's the
investment.
thing.
It's an investment. You're going
Yeah,
to
I
see.
mean, yeah, it's funny. At first, when I was transitioning, when you're still buying a lot of food, you're still eating a lot of other food, it gets a little expensive because you're kind of living in both worlds, right? But when you do fully transition and if you do want to jump in 2 feet, it's gonna save you money in the end because you're not buying, like you said, you're not buying crap, you're not all doing this stuff, and you're not, and hopefully you're spending less money on medicine, right? Hopefully
Yeah,
you're,
way less. Yeah,
on
it's a good
everything. So.
investment to me. Sound.
Oh yeah, it's a great investment for sure. And you get to do the things you want to do again, and you don't wake up every morning in pain, and you sleep well. Like, man, I mean, I've been pretty lucky. I slept pretty good anyway, but my sleep is awesome. Like, how's your sleep when you're on good?
Better, way better. And my sleep
Yeah.
wasn't good before. It's way better
Oh,
now.
there you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
it's improved. Every faction of my life has
I
improved
know.
because
It
of this
has.
diet, this weight loss. It totally has.
Yeah, it's hard to deny, man. It's like, and that's why like and I think that's why the message does get out, right? When you talk to people and you have that passion behind you because you have your personal story, right? When I talk to people, they're like, "Holy shit. Yeah, this is really my badge at work, dude. It's still the original badge from 3 years ago, my photo. So it's still it can see, right, that I've lost weight.
Yeah,
So when I
yeah.
talk, yeah, it's awesome. When I talk to people and they're like, "Yeah, I can tell you lost weight. Look at your fucking badge." I'm like, "Yeah, well." But it's like, yeah, and they hear my voice and they see it in my, my passion, whatever. And yeah, I get a little crazy sometimes, and I'm not a little crazy obsessive person. But damn it, we're supposed to be open about our, our craziness these days. And yeah, I'm a little obsessive sometimes, but it is if I can obsess on something that's healthy and something that's good for people, then damn it, I'm gonna jump on that.
Exactly. And it's
Right?
hard to convince people, and I hope we're making a difference.
I think we
But
are,
it's
man.
really I'm always looking for that catchphrase that gets somebody
Yeah,
that helps the light bulb go on for them.
yeah.
Like
I know.
trying to explain something
Well,
this way or that way, or like
yeah,
do the 90 days, eat the piece of cake, feel like shit, like maybe that'll be it, or all these different angles, like the combating the people that think that it's not good for the environment to eat beef, and
Yeah.
like all these different areas. Like we've looked for the answer, and we're finding them. We're
Yeah.
finding answers to all this stuff that everybody's like, but well, let's go look, and then
Yeah.
sure enough we can find it. Oh yeah,
Exactly.
let's compare, like you did, beef to chocolate. Ugh,
Yeah.
it, it's total bullshit to put that on beef, that beef is ruining the environment,
Yeah.
or taking the natural water away, when
Yeah. It's
chocolate does worse.
yeah.
Like, wake
Is
up.
exactly, and that's
Don't
almost
take
the
one
kind of
piece of media and just run with it when
yeah,
you
and
hear
that's
something.
and that's almost
Explore
the
it.
kind of and that's almost the kind of the politically correct, almost slow snowflakey type environment society is sometimes, right? It's like, oh my god, you would never demonize chocolate because everybody knows you need your piece of chocolate. Like, fuck no. We're shitting on people, farmers, ranchers, who are trying to
Yeah,
make a living feeding people. They know this food is proper human food.
yeah.
People that have grown up in the ranching business over generations, you think they're questioning this food? They think
Never
people
have.
that are eating boxed food are insane. I'm sure they think they're
Stand
insane.
up and shout then. Like, what are you waiting for?
But they
That's
got to
what it,
get together, and they need people like me that have a big mouth, right? They need
yeah.
people like me to yell for them. Actually, I got to get a hold of these farmers around our local area and maybe get
Yeah.
together and
Rattle
have a
them
talk.
all together and say, hey, I got this podcast.
I
Let's
am.
get the word out. Like, do you want to come
Good.
and
Yeah.
talk with me for an hour?
Good. Well, here you
Sure.
go. If you're in the KW region, if you're even in the Sault Ste. Marie region, or you're anywhere near me, somewhere I can
We
get
can
to,
Skype. Carlo and I are
yeah,
500 miles from
actually
each other.
true. We can Skype from anywhere. So
Yeah.
email fatsoradio@gmail.com and we want to talk to you. That'd be awesome, man. Scotty, we'll chat people and
Sure.
see what's going on.
I'm
But it's
listening
the
now.
thing, man. It's good food, right? It's natural, and that's I mean, people talk about the local movement, right? What's more local than going to your farmer, right? The guy who raises cows.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, it's crazy, and I think that processed food is really the big problem. Here's you're actually looking. While I still remember, you were asking for like a kind of a catchphrase or something to tell people to kind of combat something. Like, it's funny when people say, well, how can you eat no carbs? Don't you need carbs? Our body can actually make carbohydrates, right?
Yeah.
Our liver. People don't even realize that, but our liver can make all the carbohydrates we need,
And
and
vitamins.
that's it. So your body can make carbohydrates, and you're eating fat, and you're eating protein. Boom. That's it. I mean, so a lot of people are kind of questioning the whole. I mean, you need carbohydrates for your brain, and there is some of your organs in your brain do need a certain amount of glucose, but our liver has a great ability to make it. And as a bonus, if you're not taxing the shit out of your liver with all those toxins and all those and all that glucose, right, and all that other shit, then it has no problem making the glucose you need. So that's just kind of a tidbit of information there.
What do you think
Um,
about that?
what do you think about that? Yeah.
Mm.
So Scott, I mentioned earlier that I am coming home for Christmas, man. So we got to do another.
Yes.
We have one lined up. Be good. It'll be like two
Yes.
months
Face to
away.
face podcast. It'd be great.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be good.
Christmas
And
special.
yeah, that would be awesome. I think the last time we did it was what, Easter? No, I think our first one might have been Easter, or is
It
it
was,
summer?
I believe. I think it was Easter. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
For
Easter
sure.
weekend. That was great, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah. So episode number 37, brother. Thank you so much for taking your time, man. Any last words we can send out to the
Yeah.
people listening, to all five people? My mom, maybe your mom.
Fuck. Sugar. Sorry, mom.
Yeah, man. No, I believe you, brother. Um, and you know
If
what?
we
I
go
think you're
missing,
saying,
go
yeah,
go for the sugar companies. They made us disappear because we're getting too.
exactly. There's enough of us saying that out these days, but yeah, fuck sugar is right. And and for a long time I was kind of hesitant on how bold I should be on me calling out things like sugar. But who's gonna defend sugar? I'm sorry. You defend sugar? Email me. Tell me. Send me your message. Why are you defending sugar? There's a lot of people that are kind of are quick to defend, something that is kind of against sugar, against fruits and vegetables, because they always say, there's nuance or certain things are misleading or this and that. But if you need to peel way back so many layers of bullshit to get to the truth, then how
Yeah,
truthful is your message, right? It's just the
for
bottom
sure.
line. If you have to lie, if you get through 10 layers of lying to get to the truth, it's not worth it. Or you can see something that's very evident. Try it for yourself. I say 30, 60. Scotty say 90. I say 90 as well. Try it,
Mm,
right? What else can we tell
think
people,
that's
man? It
the way
works
to
for
run.
us. How
Yeah,
much weight have you lost so far?
we're skinny, bud.
How much weight
Remember
now?
when we were fat fucks? That was
Hey,
the
buddy?
best. I. How much am I down? 60 pounds.
60 pounds now.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm down
270
270.
to, well, I'm over 60 pounds. Yeah.
Wow. And your biggest was
Down
270,
from,
right?
biggest is 270 down to
Jeez.
208. Yeah.
Well, folks, my biggest was 330. I'm at about 213 right now. It's oh man, it's good to be alive, Scotty.
It
Thank you,
is.
my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. I don't thank you enough for all the knowledge you've given me in this area of my life to get where I am right now. So thank you very much, John. And
Oh,
I'll
it's
come on this podcast anytime you want to help you out.
my pleasure. My pleasure. I love you, brother. Talk to you soon, man.
I love you too. Take care.
All right.
Bye bye.